Hey, what's going on, everybody? Coach Willis here with Willis Performance Training, and I'm here joined with a very, very special guest, Mr. Lee Haney. Lee Haney, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Amon. How about you? You
I'm
good?
doing, I'm doing as good as we all can be right now in this situation. Just staying positive and staying productive. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, man. A lot of people are locked in and not knowing what to do and getting frustrated. And as you know, exercise is one of the best things you can do. And what I'm sort of conscious of and warning people about is not to quarantine and end up gaining 20 or 30 pounds. But that's not so bad for us because they got to come see us when it's over.
You're
So,
right.
so as they lock themselves in, they got to make sure they don't lock themselves in and get fat or put on more than they had before before this thing occurred. So, I mean, the exercise and the right nutrition is the very best thing in the world, also for the mental state.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I know you're being kind of modest right now, but people need to know who Lee Haney is, what he's done. Eight-time Mr. Olympia. He is on top of the game. Can you give us a brief history about your journey in athletics and fitness and how you came to where you are now, and let us know.
Well, I tell you what, man, I've been in the industry for over 45 years, and it began by winning the Mr. Teenager America, and then going on to win the Junior Mr. America, Mr. Universe, and the top professional bodybuilding crown is the Mr. Olympia, which I won 8 consecutive times, which gave me a place in the Guinness World Book. So, been over 30 different countries in the world, more than 190 countries in our federation, the International Federation of Bodybuilding, and the NPC worldwide. So, man, I've been there, done that. So when it comes to bodybuilding, understanding the science of building the body, whether it's for athlete or for the general public, that's what I do. I've trained beyond my sport of bodybuilding. I've trained people like Evander Holyfield when he wanted to go from cruiserweight to heavyweight. I worked with him. I worked with Shannon Sharp. I worked with Gary Sheffield. I worked with Gerald Perry, a lot of athletes over the years, Riddick Bowe. So I've been there, done that. Then I've trained celebrities like Steve Harvey. And man, it's been a one whirlwind of a ride. And I get great joy out of what I do.
I'm sure you do. You forgot one person. You forgot my dad in there.
Yeah, your dad was more like my training partner. We've known each other for about, 23, 24 years. And man, we have a lot of history together. And you know what's so cool is me and your dad discuss sometime, both of us are now, we've hit the 60 mark, but neither of us is dealing with any kind of injuries, be it elbows, knees, hips, back, uh, you know, uh, shoulder joints, of any of that. And that's because of correct training, understanding how to pair the body part, how to stimulate and not annihilate when it comes to training and exercise. That's very important because a lot of athletes can't say that after such a long history of training. They end up with elbow problems, or some of them have had torn rotator cuffs, or pec tears, or knee replacements, all of that craziness, which for the most part is a result of not knowing how to train properly. So that's extremely important, and that's what I feel one of my contributions in the world of bodybuilding, as far as creating systems and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. It's I think it's tantamount not only in bodybuilding, but especially, in the the performance side athlete world and in all sports to train right. And I think that as time goes on, you start to see so much science being developed and research on proper ways to get things done to help create that longevity in your career. So how have you seen the science evolve over your whole tenure in the fitness world since, was that, it had to be 80s?
Right, a long time ago.
80s?
But it has evolved on a positive note. Athletes are bigger now and faster. One of the things I've noted too, there's a fine line between overtraining. because that happens quite a bit. You see more meniscus tears and ACL tears. You know, you can only pound a joint but so much. Cut here, cut left, cut right, but so much. As you overdo that, you can, just like overtraining a body part, overtraining muscles in bodybuilding, you can also do that in sports science. So you got to be very, very careful as to how you implement and how much you implement in the way of training. But you know, there's a lot of great trainers out there, and that's why there's, you know, there's brothers like yourself who know how to do it right. Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy to see that. You know, the sports science end of it has got better and better. The longevity of athletes has gotten longer. You know, so I'm happy to see that, and it has just progressed throughout the year. So, you know, I'm happy with where things are.
Absolutely. And you mentioned before how, you know, there's a proper way to do things, not only to save joints, but for overall health. With our whole health crisis that we have going on right now with the coronavirus and people being at home, and kind of to an extent, they're saying, you know, people who are more affected by it has some type of pre-existing condition, like, you know, high blood pressure or, you know, diabetes, or specifically they're saying, or, you know, there's some studies that are showing that people who are overweight might be more prone to not being able to fight off an infection as much. How do you see this whole crisis kind of, how do you see the end result of this whole crisis, and maybe there being a shift in how people start to approach living a healthy lifestyle and taking advantage or taking control of their fitness?
Well, see, that's why what you're doing now is so important. This particular show, as far as getting information out there to people, because once they have solid information and apply that information, knowledge and so forth, it's going to help them. I mean, we've always known that being overweight brings about a lot of different problems as relates to health: diabetes, stroke, cancer. I mean, all type of illnesses and that sort of thing. And it damages the immune system, the body's ability to recover. So one of the things that I've pushed over the years is the importance of detoxing the body. You know, and the detox is important as far as keeping the liver, the kidney, the bloodstream, the urinary systems healthy, the colon, nitrogen healthy, by ingesting good, clean foods over a period of 7 to 14 days, using herbs like milk stem cell, burdock root, red clover, garlic, those different kind of things to help reboot the system. It is very similar to having your car service. Every 3,500 to 5,000 miles, you take your automobile in, you get the oil change, a new filter, you get the jets cleaned, and there we go. For longevity of the engine and better gas mileage. Well, the body has to be rebooted also the same way as your automobile. And that in itself will help to give longevity to the body. Now, I was the first one to create what is called a systemic cleansing and detox program in the bodybuilding industry. I mean, not just for the bodybuilding industry, but for the overall health and wellness of anybody everywhere. But I was the first to do that in the bodybuilding industry because I found out way in 1982, after winning the junior nationals and then going on to winning the NPC nationals, the importance of keeping the system nice and healthy. So that I do reintroduce proteins. And I say reintroduce because during the detox, you're more on a vegan style diet. Plenty of water, vegetables, fruit, and that sort of thing. Only protein should be ingested at that particular time is lentils, beans, quinoa, and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. You reintroduce chicken or fish or turkey, those kind of things, and eggs after you finish your 7 to 14 day detox. So the energy level is increased after detoxing. Also, you recover a lot better, you know, and then the body will receive the protein, and the body's ability to assimilate it is a lot better. So that the detoxing is extremely important, and that's the first thing that needs to happen if a person is wanting ultimate health and vitality to the body. Mm-hmm. Now, I have created what is called a Lee Haney 7-day systemic cleansing and detox, which can be purchased at leehaney.com. That's Haney.com. We sold them all over the United States. Matter of fact, a company called Europa, which is one of the biggest national distributors, is head of distributing my product to stores all over the United States. Now, the second thing people need to do to keep that immune system strong is use herbs. You know, herbals has been out there forever. You have things like elderberry that's very popular right about now, because people are saying, well, what I need to do to clean my system? Well, first of all, you detox the body. Mm-hmm. Good food, good fruits, good vegetables, plenty of water. Then you give the system boosters like elderberry, echinacea, zinc, ginger. You know, I love to use a tea bag combination where I combine these different teas together along with grated lemon and local honey and zinc lozenges. So those type of things you can do at least twice a week to keep the system nice and healthy. And then mega dosages of vitamin C that's fat soluble. So just doing things like that. And again, washing your hands, you know, making sure you wear your facial mask, stand away from crowds. If we do those type of things, we're doing ourselves a huge service, because this is something that our nation, our world has never seen before. So we got to do everything that we can to keep ourselves healthy.
Oh, absolutely, 100% agree. I actually just had a talk with a nutritionist not too long ago, and we spoke about how so much emphasis is on. Come here, Lulu.
Who's that in the background there? Look at that. Woo! Hey.
Hi, say hi.
Hey.
Lulu, say hi.
Hi, Uncle Lee.
Hey, beautiful. How are you?
Here.
There we go. That's a joy right there. I'm telling you, that's the joy.
Trying to milk every second of it when I can.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so I had a good talk with a nutritionist the other day, and we were speaking about, you know, there's so much medication and everything being circulated around about, you know, the viruses and finding a cure, but you don't really see a lot of talk about how nutrition comes into play, and you really don't see that in general, about how people should eat to help stave off different infections and have a strong immune system. So it's just as important. It's more so preventative measure versus
there you go.
tertiary thing where you're reacting to it versus being proactive before it happens.
See, and that's the thing, you know, with people being locked in their homes now, the worst thing you can do is go out and get a bunch of food that's not good for you. Mm-hmm. You're going to end up gaining maybe 10, 15 pounds more than you had when you first went into this deal. And that's the wrong thing. Only thing that's going to do is slow the metabolism even more. And if you're not doing any exercise, you will be in trouble. Mm-hmm. So you become a magnet for virus, any type of diseases. So you really got to stay on top of this thing. You got to really stay on top of it. And exercise and nutrition, preventive maintenance, intentional preventive maintenance is the best way to go.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, speaking of working out from home, talking to different people and even some of my clients, you know, as their coach, as their trainer, you know, we can provide as much resources that we need to provide them to ensure that we can recreate those conditions for success for them. But sometimes you'll get the feedback like, hey, I know I have my workout, but I just haven't been as motivated because I'm not actually in the gym. What kind of advice or strategy do you have for people who have that mindset, like they have to be in the gym in order to be motivated to get that workout done?
You know what? I say to people this. I mean, I'm an 8-time Mr. Olympia. I don't go around looking for excuses, period. At the age of 60 now, I feel good. I'm functional. And that's because of my mindset. I want long. I want to be here for the second half of my journey. I got a wife to take care of. I got grandkids to take care of. I want to be around and healthy in order to be here. You know, you have to be intentional about your health. If you got to have somebody to push your button 24/7 for you to get up and do what you know you need to do, then you're a sad person. You're not going to last long in the race of life anyway. So you got to make up your mind, I want to live, and I'm going to do what's necessary to be here. You know, I've watched people over the years. One of the things that kick a lot of people in gear when the doctors say, well, you got 8 months left. If you don't lose this extra 30, 40 pounds, your heart is going to fail. You're now dealing with congestive heart failure. And that's the result of sitting around doing nothing. So if you want to leave here prematurely, then let me put some insurance money on you. And I'll split it with the family. A $200,000 policy, and I'll pay the premium because you're better than stock. So you got to get your mind right. No excuses. Get your mind right and do what you know you ought to be doing, to be around, to take care of your family, your friends, and stay in the game. And, you know, being entrepreneurs like we are, you know, we work for ourselves. We are our business. You know, I've trained people like Steve Harvey. One of the things that Steve, I've watched him over the years. I've trained Steve over 12 years. The time we finish that workout, the first thing he do is get his green drink. Then he has his cook to make sure they, you know, get his breakfast ready. And it's all organic. It's all natural. His water, his teas, his supplement. He understands that in order for him to be productive, he's the machine. He is the business. So, and that should be the mindset of any of us that are breadwinners. We are the business. We have to be alive. We have to be functional. So let's get it right up here first. And then we can change that mindset. Do what you got to do. Exercise is not fun. I mean, walking around the park, maybe that's fun. You listen to the bird, but listen, there's a little discomfort that goes along with exercise. That's just the way it is. But it's a necessary discomfort.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. And you know, they say that, you know, in order to get something that you've never had before, you have to do something that you've never had before, and sometimes that involves getting outside of your comfort zone. And I think that people have this mental fear of, if I do this, how am I going to feel? Like, I feel so vulnerable when I'm outside of my comfort circle of just being here and doing what I'm used to. But the second they take that one step over and realize, like, hey, this is not that bad, and this is actually taking me to where I need to go, then the attitude changes, and that's where the shift happens.
Exactly.
And also, I mean, another thing that you don't hear a lot of people talk too much about is what exercise does for stress management. You know, I have clients who come in, their goal is not necessarily to lose weight or put on a bunch of muscle, but sometimes they just have life. You know, they go to work with families, and they have all kind of stress that they have to bear, and they literally come in and they work out and they just feel great afterwards. They have a high. They have those endorphins going just from the workout, and that's what they do. Now in times like this, where some entrepreneurs with small businesses are going to be hit pretty hard with this, and some people have families to support, and they're not necessarily going to have the financial means maybe for a couple of weeks to ensure that they have what they need. Now it's probably more important than ever to have an outlet to de-stress. You know,
it is extremely important, you know. And I mean, listen, I'm going to go out here and go through a half-hour workout with functional training, the ropes, the dumbbells, the medicine ball. I have this huge grassy hill I go down and jump back up. So, hey, man, it gets me feeling good. It gets my mind nice and fresh, and I'm ready to come up with some new ideas, you know. And as we were speaking earlier, I've now set up, you know, working with some of my clients by FaceTime. You know, so there's so many different ways to, and no excuses for people to get fit now. I mean, you've came up with, and your team has came up with all type of ideas to help people. I'll be launching tomorrow my online 30-minute workout where people can follow along the workout. They can do it right in the comfort of their home. All they need is 2 dumbbells. Plus, I've now made available digital my book, Fit at Any Age, which you'll see on the cover of the book here. We have people of every age group from 90 all the way down to 60, all of them being fit at any age, and they share their testimonies of what exercise has meant for them over the years. Now, this is a book for the mass population. It's not hardcore bodybuilding, which these days, I'm not hardcore bodybuilding. I'm glad to be alive and glad to be functional. So this book is available at my website, leehaney.com. You can also get it through Amazon, also Kindle and so forth. Then, of course, we talking bodybuilding science. My latest book, which we were going to showcase, this one totally awesome, at the Arnold event. And man, you know, they shut that down with the virus coming up, so we couldn't introduce it then, but we did online. So we shipped this book to at least 7, 8 different countries already, all the way to Poland too. Poland and Hungary, Switzerland, Sweden, Japan, and Britain and Belgium, all over the place. So I'm excited about this. Is the guide to bodybuilding success. This is for the hardcore, where I used to be. I'm on the teaching side of it now.
Nah, Lee, you can go ahead and admit that picture on the cover of the book was taken probably last year sometime, so that's fine. You know,
yeah, I look at that, man, who in the world is that?
A true story. I mentioned this to you before, but you know, my wife is from Hungary, and so anytime she goes over there, when I go for a couple of weeks at a time. So I always find a gym over there, and I'll go to. There's a very popular bodybuilding gym over there called Flex Gym, where a lot of bodybuilders in Budapest, they'll go there, and celebrities and stuff, they'll come, and it is like a bodybuilding haven, and so they have all these pictures and names and stuff on the wall. And, you know, when you walk into the gym, you're going up the stairs, you see a big Lee Haney just like, you know, I'm walking up there and it's, you know, it's amazing. And even the small gyms there, you know, the gym atmosphere there is a little different than here, but, you know, they have gyms set up in Europe where it'd be like in an old building. And so you have to go downstairs into like this little basement thing and people go there.
Right.
You go into the locker room and you see a big poster of Lee Haney there. You see, you see everybody there. So I mean, you're a god in the world, you know, in the bodybuilding world. So it's always like neat to see that I get to experience that firsthand because my wife is from over there. We travel, and to see your name over there, that lets you know the footprint that you've left in the bodybuilding world. Like this like it's not a small thing. That's big.
Well, man, you know, I've been blessed, man. I've been blessed. I always recall or recant the story of me at the age of 17 saying a prayer. I got on my knees one night and I prayed. I said, Lord, if you see fit to make me the best of the sport that I love so much. See, I wanted to be the best. I said, if you see fit to make me the best of the sport that I love so much, I'll go before the world and give you the praise and the glory. He saw something in that prayer because I've gone before the world in over 30 different countries and shared my gift was health and fitness. And I've also took the importance of family along with me, you know, so that's what it's all about. Godly lifestyle, loving the family, and staying healthy.
Absolutely. And, you know, you definitely impacted my life, my family's life for my entire life. I can tell you that right now. Even when I was a kid, just looking at the magazines and dad talking about you, you better believe that had an impact on my approach to working out and just going hard in the gym. Like, that has everything to do with you, Lee, and I thank you for that. I don't think I'd be where I am right now if it wasn't for your impact. So that's like the ultimate, just like the ultimate reward is giving back. Sorry, my dog. We just got this puppy, and he's tearing me up right now.
I feel you, man. I had 2 of my grandkids, which are puppies, over yesterday. One is a miniature pincher with a mixed Chihuahua, and the other one is they call it a Yackle Doodle Poodle. So I had both of them, you know, and my 2 kids, Josh and Olympia, was there with their families and so forth. Man, I had a yard and a house full.
Something else. And then, you know, we talked a little bit about how the ended. Ouch! Stop it! Fighting too hard. We talked about how Mama, quiet. Sorry. We talked about how the industry and bodybuilding has changed throughout the decade. Quiet.
You got a strong voice, though.
He's a German Shepherd, and he's just, you know, goodness gracious, quiet down. Talk about how the industry has changed over the decades, and you know the whole science, and you know what it is like for the bodybuilders today. What piece of advice would you give for that young guy who's trying to step foot into the bodybuilding world? Would you give him to help him succeed or help her succeed? What's like the single most important thing that you would tell them?
Well, Amon, one of the things I always emphasize is getting a solid foundation. That's the most important thing, getting a solid foundation. Because my book, Totally Awesome here, Totally Awesome, this is not the first time this book has been on the market. This book was originally released back in 1986, then re-released in 1990. This is the third time that this book has been released, because bodybuilding, as to where it is now, it has sort of gotten out of hand a bit. When I say out of hand, you started to see, no longer did you see the small waist, the taper, the classic style of physique. It went sort of amok for a while. And bodybuilding is now trying to make its way back. That's why we now have the physique and now the classic physique division. I was a classic physique, although I was larger. You know, everybody had to have the tapering waist, the vacuum, and it took time to develop that type of physique. So I've put those principles inside of my new book, Totally Awesome, which give them a good footprint to follow to develop that quality, beautiful physique, the one that everybody want to look like. Nobody want to look like a bobblehead or a cyclops. That's not sellable, particularly to the general public. You know, when I first saw Arnold Robbie Robinson, I said, man, I want to look like that. You know, and it was possible to look like that. I won the Teenage America. I weighed 212 pounds. I won the IFBB Mr. Universe weighing 230 pounds. So with a tapering waist, with a vacuum. So it's this look that bodybuilding has gotten back to in the classic physique era, in which is now called classic physique. We were classic bodybuilding, but classic physique is classic bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. And this, the Totally Awesome, is the key to that success. And again, people wanting a copy of Totally Awesome, as I said, we ship copies all over the world. They can go to leehaney.com. That's LEEHANEY.com, and get a copy of the book. I autograph it for them, or they can get it digital through Amazon or through Barnes and Nobles and so forth. So all of that is on my website. And so this is the manual for developing a great physique. And I'll say too, it's not something that I just thought of myself. Mm-hmm. I follow the routines handed down by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbu, rest his soul, Robbie Robertson, Roy Callender, Frank Lane. It's just been so many guys who've given to the sport of bodybuilding. Bill Pearl, you know, I can't, Albert Beckers, all of these guys made Lee Haney. I'm who they were and who they are in the way of training techniques. So these are techniques and information that can last a lifetime. I'm here with no injuries to our joints, none whatsoever. So apparently I know something.
You know a lot more than something. You know a lot. And, you know, I went to my first bodybuilding competition I went was the one that you were, it was in Miami. It was at the Jackie Gleason Center. This was in 2000. I think this was in 2011, maybe September it was. I don't know if you remember that. And you had a booth there, and you know you were one of the hosts. It was amazing, and that was my first time actually being around and seeing, like, you can actually see the dedication that people have to have in order to get that look like that. It's one thing to see it on TV, and it's another thing to see it in magazines, but to see that up close in person, that was. I had never seen anything like that. And then a couple of years ago at the Lee Haney games, I saw it again. I was like, wow, it's always amazing to see, like, the amount of literally the dedication just to get a human body to look like that and be symmetrical. How much of gaining a physique do you think is genetic versus the person being able to create it? Like, are there people out there who are genetically predisposed to having a great bodybuilding physique, or can anyone make it happen and look like a physique king or queen?
Well, you know something, the genetic blueprint can determine how long it'll take a person to be successful in the sport of bodybuilding. In the body type that's out front, as far as having that natural ability, is those that are mesomorphic. And I talk about that in my book, Totally Awesome, whereby I'm mesomorphic. Arnold Schwarzenegger is mesomorphic. Lou Ferrigno is mesomorphic. You look at Murray is mesomorphic. Sid Gillian is mesomorphic. You got Brandon Curry, the current Mr. Olympia, mesomorphic. So we do have that advantage. But I've also seen people that wasn't entirely mesomorphic, like a Frank Zane, win the Mr. Olympia crown 3 times in a row. And I've seen people that had superior genetics, but were just lazy and didn't, use the science or didn't have the heart and the desire that never made it. So all of these things play a part in it. Having the science there can exceed genetics as you understand the science and how to stimulate a muscle, how to feed it, how to give it the right training systems. You can turn the body and shape and mold it into whatever you want it to look like. Someone who's endomorphic, genetically carry a high amount of body fat, a little on the chubby side, they can change their metabolism to appear of that of a mesomorph body type through training, through proper nutrition. It can be done. I've seen it done, and I've done it with different athletes. So you can take the body where you want it to go.
That makes sense. And I think you nailed on the head. You training systems. I think that you see some people who do a lot of guesswork, or they follow something that's not really proven, that doesn't really have a track record like that, and so you get people kind of taking shots in the dark about what they need to do to look a certain way or to get to a certain way. But for the most part, just dedication and being consistent to it. You have to really be devoted to making it happen and being patient with results, and then being consistent with the work.
That's right. That's what it's all about. And that's why I'm Totally Awesome. I put all the systems there. I talk about how to match the body parts together so you don't tear up your joints. And with the systems, there's certain systems for all season. There's certain systems for on season. There's certain systems to allow the body to recover. And I talk about detoxing and all of this. You got to still keep the body detoxed. You can't live off of tons of protein to develop muscle and then not give the liver a break or to clean the liver. So everything's connected to everything.
Absolutely. It's a big ecosystem. It's just
That's
big,
right.
big ecosystem. There's no get this one thing better and be great. You have to have balance, and that's what it's about.
That's right.
Whether bodybuilder or the normal person going to work who wants to feel good, or that high school athlete trying to get in college, you got to have a complete system in order to succeed. Period. And I'm always preaching that. So
there we go. All right.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and speaking facts and educating everybody and sharing your knowledge. That is just like beyond gold. It's priceless what you have to share with your experience, and thank you so much for it. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate you. Now, listen, I also want to let you know that we've just done a new page with the International Association of Fitness Science site, and we're going to make sure we got you up there on our directory so people from anywhere in the world will know how to reach out to you and how to find you. So for those who want to become part of what we're doing, a new association with the IFS, or to become certified, they can go to leehaney.com and find the link there and go in and find out what we have to offer in the way of a certification program. One that's been there, done that, and proven the work.
Well, I can tell you that from firsthand experience, so most definitely. So you can go to leehaney.com if people want to find out more information about the IAFS.
Right. They can hit the link there and go right over. Or they can go straight to IAFScertification.com.
Sounds great. Well, thanks again, Uncle Lee. I appreciate everything that you've done for not only myself, my family, but for the world of fitness. And thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Keep up the good work.
Will do.
All right.
Right on.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.